Now, why am I sat here up on the hill with tears down my face? Because I've been playing. Not a sentimental old fool, in fact. In that clip, that film actually, it is one of the greatest pieces of art, maybe almost ever, or certainly of the modern era. The scene where she's given the envelope with the 2 items in it at the end is just simply brilliant. It is just total genius. And it licenses her somehow to cry. Yeah, emotion is important. It's possibly the most... It is probably, at the end of the day, the foundation to fucking civilization. Emotion. We learn from emotion, but why is that film so brilliant? You see, there's something in there also that most people won't get. They won't notice it. I can't remember the line. So Daniel Craig's gone off and... Actually, there's 3 or 4 things in it that are really special. The first is the woman saying... The drug dealer woman saying there's nothing in her society that's any good. That's... And she's not just a straightforward, standard, scuzzy drug dealer. Yeah, I mean, that is wise. But it's after he's been back for the funeral he missed, etc. There's a line in there about how well, you see, it's something like it's harder to stay behind and grift and just make do with your little lot. And that kind of sums up the whole of almost the last 100 years, perhaps 200 years of civilization, of Western advanced bourgeois society, I should say. Okay, people have always roamed for thousands of years to some extent, but they've roamed in groups, they've roamed in tribes. And then in the age of the individual, starting, or particularly clicking in 150 years ago, and yeah, even George Eliot and people like that took that forward, Byron, etc., etc., etc. Mary Shelley. In the age of the individual, you're roaming, what does romantic mean? I suppose, actually, it's quite a good definition, that one has the notion, and once the notion has been planted in society, it's a meme, you can't turn back. The notion is planted in there. Is it in... Yeah, it's in Wuthering Heights. Of course it is. That you must go out and find yourself and not seek riches, but seek enlightenment and fulfillment. And knowledge and wisdom and understanding, etc., etc., etc. Now, I've lived a bizarre life where I already had that life entirely in my 20s up to my mid-30s. And there are good things about it. But I also know that there are negatives as well. You don't really, and this is the point. It's very hard to make a point. In fact, no, there's 2 points. The first point is this, is that, yeah, I realised this 20 years ago, 25 years ago. You've made your genuinely deep connections here and there. The deepest one I made in my 20s was Margaret, really, in a Belgrade hotel. She phones me up and asks me if it's all right if she gets married to her boyfriend. And that's the definition of the deepest possible connection. She's American, from North Carolina. I loved her. She knew. She phoned me up when I was there working. 30 years ago. Was it 30 years ago? 26, 7 years ago. Anyway. Yeah, keeping those connections going, those really deep ones that we randomly pick up across the globe. It's almost impossible once you want a kid. To spend your money on, or when you have a period of not being able to afford international phone calls or fancy phones. Anyway, that's slightly technical, but there's something else. Now, maybe my experience is slightly unique. I don't know. It's not going to be entirely unique. So there you are. You've explored the world. You're in tune with all sorts of different cultures, not as a tourist, but as somebody working in different locations and traveling, a traveller. And you read, as I did, always a lot, deep reading. But then you're forced to stay in one location, and you're forced to stay somewhere you really, apart from the walking in the countryside and being in the countryside, as now, you really can't stand it. It is just totally Madame Bovary, jagged glass splinters everywhere. It is. That's what this area became. This whole area. The people. You absolutely hate it. But you're forced to stay there. Somehow, over time, perhaps it's because I've already experienced other cultures, not knowing that they're awful or anything like that. No, there are better ones. But somehow your soul evolves, and I think it evolves in a better way. I think it evolves in a way that is more ultimately wholesome, centered, and at peace. Not learning to make do with the people around. No, can't. If you've read books, seen the world, this utter fucking hall of mirrors, bourgeois lie, just the whole of society is based on. It's a theme park. There you go. Yeah, it's a theme park with shattered pieces of mirror everywhere to cut your feet. That's what it is. That's what it became. But somehow, keeping your self-respect in that environment, and also developing your thoughts, but you can't make it happen. It comes about, and I think it comes about better, in a better way, than if you have the free life to be anywhere there and be searching geographically and through other people's. That's the great paradox of life, and that film Doesn't quite expand into that, but uniquely, I think it kind of points this out. Anyway, there is so much brilliant, unwritten, unsaid. It is one of the best films ever, and it's a film that I go to and think, oh god, this is cheesy naff. Daniel Craig, LA, you know. And also, anyway, no, it's brilliant. There's bits of brilliant writing, but that film does something that I so rarely films do. Without telling you, you know what's in the minds of the people. It really is a superb, superb film. There we go.